Welcome everyone to the June Solstice Festival with our special guest from Italy, Antonella Nobilio. And today we will share, focus and meditate on the astrological signs and cyclical signs that's ahead of us towards the 2025. And so Antonella, welcome. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Hi to everyone. Thanks for coming to join.
Thank you for being together with us today and sharing with us your thoughts and ideas. And please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, it's a great joy to be in this 2 days where the full moon, the second full moon of Gemini and the solstice are so close. And so it's as I wrote, it's a very propitious time to look at the heavens and to look at the future together, to know how the heaven is telling us what to do. The difficulty is, of course, for us to grasp the right indication, but we do our best. We do as the Master Decay suggests us. These signs of the heavens toward 2025 will be dealt from an heliocentric and geocentric point of view, and the main reference is the Esoteric Astrology by the Tibetan Master and Alice Bailey. So if someone doesn't know or has some difficulty in understanding, can raise the hand and ask in any moment some clarification, some whatever. So it would be beautiful if the atmosphere could resemble more like a dialogue, like a round table, more than one that is speaking. But let's see what is possible also, because the things to say are many and maybe complex or not. We'll see. So yes, we are just as I said, in the wave of the full moon. It was 1 day ago, and as the case says in exteriorization of hierarchy, at the time of the June full moon, the Christ, in the closest cooperation with the Buddha, links the hierarchy with humanity. So we have this solstice, which is full of this second ray that Gemini transmit, and the second ray of love wisdom that Christ represents and focus on hierarchy, on humanity. So similarly, we have the alignment of the full moon of Gemini. This alignment links in a deeper way Sirius, which represents the place of the higher hierarchy, through the sun, which is analogous to the Christ, the higher self, the center of hierarchy, with the earth, which represents humanity, the lower self, and its moon, the three lower bodies and kingdoms. Sirius is the feminine consort of Orion. Our cosmic, it's he is or she is, we don't know, but we can use the it. It is our it, capital It. It is our cosmic magnet, or sun's primary, is the head of the cosmic Christ. and its energy is strictly related to the solstitial axis Cancer-Capricorn. So Sirius is very dominant in this passage, in this solstitial passage. And so in this alignment, this direction, also astronomical direction, we see the sun, which is the analogous of Christ, aligned with Earth and its moon. So there is, just as we saw before, just as the Christ links the hierarchy with humanity, we have in this full moon the sun, which links Earth to Sirius. We know that the Lord of the Earth, Sanat Kumara, as they call in the teachings, it has a special relationship with Sirius. So we can dedicate some thoughts to this great star, which is the son of the suns, is the higher ego of our sun. And it's not far. He's not far. In the reality of the soul or our consciousness, these are not external stars as our physical senses suggest to us, but they are realities. They are levels of attunement, of alignment, of also they build a proportion of the same harmonical relationship that if a mind is related to a heart, is the same relationship between, for example, the Earth and the Sun, or the Earth and Venus. And so the effort that the masters ask to us is not to see astrology or the heavens as far or as just a code, a key to interpret the mystery, but as the living reality of our inner heaven. So the heart at the center of the heaven is our sun. So in this alignment of the solstice, in these decades and century, we have a particular and unique alignment, because the solstitial axis is aligned to the galactic center. So now the Earth, just today, at the noon, is aligned to the galactic center. And on the other side, the Sun is aligned to the star Betelgeuse of Orion. So it happens each around 13,000 years. So it's when we hear from the world different groups and people saying that is the starting point, is the 0 point, everything will be new and so on. We can also think that this alignment is coincident with this starting point, a huge starting point. Not only the millennium, the third millennium has begun. Not only we had a shambolic impact in 2000, not only we are between two ages, Aquarius and Pisces, but we have also this astronomical alignment that probably the Mayan civilizations knew, and so this Archer, we can also think that this constellation, which is Orion, this is Betelgeuse, and this is the Orion's belt. Orion is like the great cross that gives the name of our galactic arm. So, and also the Tibetan master says that Betelgeuse is particularly related to the heart of the disciples. Instead of Sirius, is related to the head of the disciples. So we can think that the couple of Orion, which is Osiris, Osiris, I don't know how to say in English, Osiris, and Sirius, which is Isis, these couple, which are the two cosmic origins, in this moment, in these years, in these decades, are particularly our big parents that are supporting the resurrection of humanity to a new phase, a totally new phase. There's nothing of mystic. It's as astrology, as decay says, that is the science of the sciences. And in the ancient mysteries, they knew that the stars in the heaven, the constellation, also the shape of the constellations were not casual, but were just the right form to send messages to the eyes or the heart of humanity. And so we have this Orion, which is has been named as the signature of the cosmic Christ. And we have also in the Greek name of the Christ, the Xi letter, which is exactly this cross. So we have from one side Osiris, or the Buddhic and the Christic principle, which is the father, if you want, and the mother, which is Isis, Sirius, which is here, very, very related to Osiris. So they are the parents that together give birth to Horus. Analogously, yes, let me stress this point, that this arrow at the solstices, which is related to the star Betelgeuse from one side and the galactic center on the other side, is thrown when the sun and the earth are aligned. And we have this occurrence just at the solstice time, which we know from the teachings that the solstices and the equinoxes are the four moments, the four instant, the four discontinuities, the four doors of the breath and of the heartbeat of Sana Kumara, of the planetary logos. So in this cross of the year, we have the main four impulses of the planetary lord. And yes, and in this solstice, there's this also this Gemini second ray, which is giving plenty of this Syrian energy of Isis. So let's list the correspondence just to have clear the proportion between them. Yes, we forgot to say that if you like, you can download this PowerPoint file if you can see properly on your screen, or also in later. So, correspondences between cosmic, solar, and planetary entities in our local universe. So, is the sun, if the sun, which is the Christ, which is the soul, which is the Buddhic principle, which is our hierarchy, we have beyond him or beyond her or beyond it, Sirius, which is then corresponding to the monad or the spirit level, or Shambhala. The earth is representing personality or humanity, and the moon, which is so close, we will see in the chart later, the moon represented the three lower bodies or kingdoms, the prisoners of the planet. So this unique alignment we can see from an astrological point of view. Here is the galactic center where the arrow of the archer was pointing. And this is in yellow, the axis, the solstitial axis. This is a geocentric chart. That means that the Earth, our blue, wonderful, and beloved planet, is at the center. The Sun is here, on the below, entering the valley, the door of incarnation, the door of man. And here I wrote the X of Orion, just in the same place, the heavenly place of Gemini, and Sirius, which is here at 14 degrees of Cancer. So we have a wonderful presence of Venus, which is, if the Sun is Orion, some Vulcan, his wife, Venus, is Isis, Sirius. And we have, we will see also heliocentrically, exceptionally, here we have Venus in Cancer, between the Sun, her husband, and Sirius. So we have a presence of this principle of intelligent love, because both Sirius and Venus represent the higher manas, which is the vehicle of Buddhi, or the Buddhic principle. So Sirius is like the vehicle of the Buddhic great constellation of Orion. And and in opposite, we have on the other side the moon, which has just entered in Capricorn. In this exact moment, this moon, so today at this time, the moon is exactly conjunct to Pluto, which is a great sign of power, and of the power for the lunar bodies, which are represented by the moon, to resurrect from the bottom to the heavens, because Pluto is really the Kundalini power, is ruling the Muladhara chakra of man. So the moon conjunct Pluto in Capricorn is very powerful for this power to rise right to the heavens. And this opposition between Pluto and Sirius of these years, and also the presence of the moon opposite Sun and Venus, are so indicating that we are really in a huge moment of synthesis between Capricorn and Cancer principles, which are the summit, the God's door, and the incarnation door, Cancer. Is just the door of initiation and the door of individualization or incarnation. So man and hierarchy. And look, also Capricorn is ruled hierarchically by Venus. So this dialectic, this dynamic is so dominating these days that, yes, as we said, Sirius, the power of Sirius is not so far from our heart. Look also at this big square or grand cross in, how is it called, the mutable cross. So we have Saturn in Sagittarius, square to Neptune in Pisces. Saturn is the planner, is the architect, is the planner in the sign of the distant goals and of the dynamic fire. A square means in a powerful and stimulating relationship with Neptune, which veils the Christ is representing the Savior in the sign of the saving waters, which is Pisces. So we can say also that Neptune represents in these years we will see just till the 2025 represented Christ. So we have the plan, the planner in full and deep relationship with Christ, the solar Christ. And Neptune is square to Mercury, with the mind, the intuition, the speed of the messenger of God, and Mercury square to Jupiter, which is in his sign, because Jupiter is ruling Virgo and represents the mother of the world, the unconditional love, the service of love through forms and new cycles. And Jupiter is also conjunct to the lunar node, another sign of coincidence between all levels, the lunar level, the personality level, which is the Earth, and the solar level, which is the Sun, and so on. Let's go to see now the heliocentric chart. We have this reversal, and at the center we have the Sun, and the Earth is raised at the summit. So from the other perspective, the Sun sees our planet just entering in the door of initiation. And also, as we said in the heliocentric chart, Venus, which is the fifth ray of science and manifestation, is the higher mind, the solar mind, is close to Sirius. And let's go on. Maybe we can come after. Yes, let's remember this dialectic between the galactic center, which represents the logos, the monad, the galactic monad, and on this side we have the two origins, Orion and Sirius, Buddhi and Manas, heart or intuition, and higher mind, which is the transmitter. Also in our head we have the pineal gland, which is, as Blavatsky says, the energizer of will, and is the place where Buddhi is situated, instead of the pituitary gland is connected to the ajna center, is the place of manas. Before, for men, is the lower manas, so we had the different points of view, the cause of also separation, the cause of the fact that each of us has a different perspective about almost everything. Here in Italy we know very well, because we have the virtue and also the problem of extreme individuality. So we are so creative, but also a bit self-referenced, a bit too much. Anyway, so let's, yes, and so the relationship I was saying between the pineal gland and the pituitary body, at a certain point of evolution, they become connected. The work of the higher mind is so awakening the Buddhi, which is in the pineal gland, that at a certain point the light comes forth. And it's just like Horus, and Horus, Orion, Orion, Horus, origin, are all words that begins with this Sanskrit root, which is or ur, which means fire, light. So the light comes forth from the cave in the head, and are just these two origins and principles in man, buddhi and manas, which when the lower mana is ruled, that makes the miracle or the new birth or the new sun or the new cycle for the man. It's I thought that it was good to deal with this in this solstitial time, because we men and the heaven, and we are so the same thing, that yes, the head is like the heavenly sphere, and these planets are not only those wonderful bodies that now with through astronomy we can admire, but are also the representing our principles, our inner principles. So, as I said, Saturn is the planar, is the mind, or the higher mind, or it depends from the perspective, but Saturn and Venus are representing these manas, this principle of the thought. And Mars here, Sagittarius, also powerful, is representing the Kama Rupa, which means the vehicle or the desire, which once is ruled is the power to advance, is the one that brings forth the wheel of Vulcan, Decay says. Vulcan at the center uses this weapon, which is Mars, to express his will. So, and so the other planets. Maybe once we can dedicate another meeting or whatever, another opportunity, we go into details. For now, we will focus on the higher triangle of solar consciousness, which is made by the Sun, Vulcan, which represent the head center of the solar system, first ray, Jupiter, second ray, the heart center, and Saturn, third ray, the solar mind. And their cycle in our studies, particularly in the studies of a great senior disciple here in Italy, Enzio Savoini, which translated all the books of Agni Yoga and also some books of decay, and studied the science of harmonics and tried to apply it to the seven rays. And he wrote this book called The Solar System in Space, which is a manual, a text of heliocentric astrology. And we have developed his wonderful work, and so we focus now on this cycle of Vulcan at the center, Jupiter and Saturn. So the first, the second, and third ray, they are the builders of the solar plan. Particularly the Jupiter is giving the magnetic power and magnetizes the field, and instead of Saturn is with his wonderful rings is just representing the plan, the project. And their combined movement is so amazing, because they build a 6-pointed star and a 5-pointed star in each 60 years. It means that while they turn around the sun, Jupiter in 12 terrestrial years, and Saturn in 28, 29, 30 harmonically, 30 years around the sun, they are conjunct each 20 years. And here are assigned the 3 conjunctions in the last Jupiter-Saturn cycle, which begins with their conjunction in 1961 and ends in 2020. I'm dealing with this cycle because we will see that it's very important for the 2025 and to prepare the way for this huge appointment of hierarchy and humanity. So they were conjunct in Capricornus in 1961. They were conjunct in here, 1981 in Libra, and again in 2000 in Taurus. For the first time after 600 years, they will be conjunct in Aquarius in 2020, for the first time since the beginning of the 15th century, for 1404 exactly. So this is a sign that outlines the passage of to the age of Aquarius. It's the first time after 600 years, and we will have also the first conjunction of Neptune and Uranus in Aquarius in 2160 exactly, after look 3,600 years. So it's really not only from a zodiacal point of view, the beginning of age of Aquarius, but also the cycles, the heliocentric cycles, but also the geocentric cycles, because we remember that from a certain point of view, which is the slower planets, which are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, their position is almost the same, both heliocentrically, which is the astronomical evidence, but not only the evidence, it's also the reality of putting the soul at the center, and also geocentrically, so they are in the same sign. So we can easily study the cycles, the solar cycles, through the heliocentric science of cycles. But their value in the science is the same of geocentric astrology. So these three conjunctions and their opposition, relative opposition, each 10 years, draws this six-pointed star in exactly in this position of the zodiac. So it's like to say that the septenary, because the center is the seventh center, is this design drawn by the higher triangle of solar consciousness. Vulcan at the center, stable with its purpose and will, and by Jupiter, second ray, and Saturn, third ray. Also, other cycles design the star, which, for example, Uranus and Jupiter. But for now, it's enough to consider these builders of the solar plan, because from this we will see that we can also infer and grasp something about the steps of our planetary plan. So, okay,
Antonella,
these five.
Antonella,
Yeah?
there was a question from Juliet.
Yes.
Can you please repeat the conjunction of Neptune and which planet in 2160?
Uranus, the seventh ray Uranus and Neptune sixth ray. So the lowest, not lowest, sorry, the slowest, slowest, or that means the deepest planets of solar system, the ones that they build a wonderful square in each 171 years. They conjunct in 170 years, so their cycle is the most profound and the most causal, if you like. And so their first conjunction in Aquarius will be in 2160 years. So we are really in a century that is full of this water of life, also from this point of view of the science of cycles. The great challenge is to unite the basic fundamentals that decade gives through esoteric astrology and the science of cycles that we can study better with heliocentric astrology. And also Blavatsky was suggesting to do that, to unify this astrological and astronomical point of view, because in that we have a great key to use to advance with science, scientifically, as Aquarius, the fifth ray of Aquarius indicates. Okay, and yes, I was saying that the 5-pointed star is also designed by them, not considering the conjunctions and the oppositions, but well, for people interested, there are also video of this, and so whatever we can be in touch and we can go deeper. Yeah, and the 5-pointed star is designed by the movement of Jupiter. When Jupiter closes one of its circle around the Sun of 12 terrestrial years, where is Saturn? Well, after 12 years, Saturn is just here, at the first side of the pentacle, of the sacred pentacle, after another turn of Jupiter. Where is Saturn? Just at the second side of the pentacle, and so on. And it closes the 5-pointed star after 60 years. So this last star of 60 years began in 1961 in Capricorn. Here there is a mistake, it's 61, the conjunction, and will be in Aquarius in 2020. We have recognized that this is an initiatory star, and from the last advent of the Christ, just 33 stars of 60 years have passed. We are just in the 34th, just as when the Christ was 33. He was put on the cross and resurrected, the Christ principle resurrected through this fourth initiation of Jesus. So we can also infer a symbolic correspondence between this drawing of the solar consciousness, which is our Christ, if you like. The solar consciousness is the soul consciousness, is the Christ in the personality. So these cycles, this breath of the solar consciousness, are just in their 34th step. That is maybe a curiosity or maybe a great indication. Okay, so let's go on. Let's look at the current planetary aspects of the higher triangle of solar consciousness. We had in 2011 Jupiter in Aries opposite Saturn in Libra, in the two signs that are related to power, to the great beard, that is the source of the 7 rays. So it was a very powerful direction, just connected probably to the 2012 magnifying in humanity, or as the end of times and so on. Then we had in 2015 Jupiter in Virgo square Saturn in Sag. We are still in geocentrically in that square, but heliocentrically, as we can see here, we are already finished this square. Instead of geocentric, we are still here in square. Means that the love principle and the intelligence principle are in not in conflict, but they are in they have to find a new solution, so to speak. Okay. And in 2020, as we said, we will have the Jupiter conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. In 2025, then you can see that the square and opposition and conjunction is each 5 years. Each 5 years we have this drawing all these main aspects between them. And in 2025 we will have a square of Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces. So here is a picture that shows the wonderful qualities, zodiacal qualities that Jupiter and Saturn express, because their conjunction hits the 12 signs in 2,400 years, and a sign every a sign. Better is an element. Maybe it's a mistake here, an element, because we had in the last 200 years all conjunction in Earth signs. For the first time in 1981, we had, it's written where? I was here. In 1981, we had the first conjunction in an Aries sign, Libra, and in 2020 here, we will have the first conjunction in Aquarius. Yes, okay. So the conjunction in one element or one sign, both, it will last for 180 years. Means that the Earth brought to us the 2 world wars, this concentration and crystallization of matter, of old forms and obsolete forms. But now we are entering in an age that will be lighter. The air of Aquarius will foster the brotherhood with between among men, among humanity, but also between humanity and the higher worlds or the higher planets and stars and so on. So Aquarius is really the sign of the universality and the universe, which means in Latin toward the one, universe. So let's go. Okay, and we have arrived to the December solstice of 2025. Let's begin with the heliocentric chart. We will see that Jupiter will be close to Sirius in that year. I chose the December solstice because in this date we have the almost the exact conjunction of Uranus, which represents between the three luminaries of synthesis, the three schemes of synthesis they are called, means that they are like the higher three beyond the seven. Uranus, which is now echoing in the outer wheel, we have the situation of now. Now Uranus is in its sign, which is Aries. It rules hierarchically Aries. And so in 2025, he will go here, just conjunct to Alcyone, which is the star of the Pleiades, where Blavatsky and Decay say that our 7 solar system, of whom our solar system is one, is just turning around these stars, like the cosmic origin, or the third aspect, or the light aspect, or Brahma aspect, or whatever. So we have this Lord, this Hierophant, or the mysteries, of the solar mysteries, just conjunct to Alcyone. The last time was in 1942 when the, let me check it, it was in 40, yes, 1942 when the Christ decided to exteriorize also physically, and the great invocation as a reward was given to humanity. So this is a great sign of the heaven. Let's keep it in the heart, because Uranus is representing really the seventh ray, which is the ray of synthesis, which now is raising in the space. So the fact that this conjunct with the Pleiades is so important. And in this year, we have also the conjunction of Jupiter and Sirius. Jupiter, second ray, Sirius, this manas, but higher manas, which represents also loving intelligence, intelligent love. And particularly the case is that from Sirius comes the law of freedom, which is a higher law, higher than the three laws of synthesis of love, wisdom, and sorry, not love, wisdom, attraction, repulse, and of economy that rule our solar system. So Jupiter and Sirius. And another great sign is the fact that Neptune, which we have seen that veils the Christ, will be in Aries after 164 years of its round. And it will be conjunct with Saturn. So in these 9 years that wait for us, we can prepare, because 9 is also the number of men, is the number of initiation, is the number of a mother to have a baby, is the number of gestation and also preparation of a new birth. We can prepare to also following this energy, which are rising to the 0 point of Aries. We know that Aries, the 0 degree of Aries, is like the solar ascendant of Earth, because everything begins in Aries, is the land of the ideas, is the electric fire, the electric power. So the fact that the 6th ray and 3rd ray, Neptune and Saturn, will be conjunct in this 0 point is another sign that something new in 2025 has to occur. So we can think that hierarchy must know the signs of the ends, at least know. So apart from the fact that hierarchy meet each quarter of the century, and Shambhala gives an impulse at each beginning of the century. So it's like we have to consider also the fact that in this 2025, also the signs of the heavens are outlining the fact of an extreme power. And let's not forget the alignment of the galactic to the galactic center, and Orion and Sirius on the other side. And what time is it? We are okay, or how much should we have?
Well, we have another 30 minutes, let's say, for all together.
Okay.
So not that much time.
Okay. So tell me how much time I can go to speak. Go on.
So I think again we can
10
encourage
minutes.
people to ask questions as they arise or raise their hands, and we will unmute them to ask questions. But other than that, yeah, I would still leave at least 15 minutes for the meditation at the end. So
Okay.
if there are questions, please ask them. Otherwise, we really encourage you, Antonella, to speak, because it's very interesting.
Okay, thank you. And okay, yes, so let's go on. I chose also a geocentric date for August 14th because it's the exact conjunction between Jupiter and Sirius at the 14 degrees 25 minutes. So, and Uranus will be already in Gemini, but just close to Alcyone too, and so on. Saturn and Neptune, as I said, the slower planets are almost the same for geocentric and heliocentric perspective, and are here just giving birth to the new, to the fire of Aries. Let's go on. Okay, here we don't have to read all this, but this is an extract from Rays and Initiation that present the cycle of 49 years of the Masters of six initiation that are ready to leave hierarchy to go to Shambhala. Why I mention this? Because in 2001, it began another 49 cycle. And yeah, let's read only this. They decide what measures, what hierarchy. I can see because I have the parallel in front of me. Let's, I will find. So they decide what measures they propose the hierarchy should take, which will drastically and permanently affect the planet. So they make, they are the group, the six initiation master, and I thank also Marco, which is listening now, which helped me to point on this wonderful extract, the group which makes the final decision anent human affairs. So this opportunity comes to the hierarchy every 49 years. So let's consider this 49 now. As we know, the Council of Shambhala meets at every turn of the century to impart a spark of life for the new coming century, and hierarchy meet at each quarter of a century, which coincides with the center of a cycle of 49 years, means 25 years. A century, a cycle consecrated to the first ray rhythm of Shambhala, which follows the number 1 and its potencies, 10, 100, 1000, contains two 49-year cycles, 2 per 7 times 7, plus 2 years of synthesis and bridge. We can put the subsequent septennia of a century into a 7 times 7 matrix, a lambdoma, according to the science of harmonics founded by Pythagoras. Lambdoma is a word that comes from the letter lambda and L, because the lambdoma we will see after is just a square that transformed the one direction in two direction. Also Plato was ruling with that when the Demiurgos created the world. So a lambdoma. In order to grasp, let's put the subsequent septennia of a century into a 7 per 7 matrix in order to grasp the ray quality of each 7-year cycle, according to the 7 rays, of course, as well as of each year. A higher decision is made each 49 years, in 1903, in 1952, in 2001, in 2050, and we can infer that the planetary plan must follow it as a progressive updating of the purpose. In particular, in 2000, we had the Shambhala impact in the exact bridge between millennia, which closed the last 49-year cycle, 1950 to 2000, to inaugurate the current one, 2001-2050. So we have put in the first line of the row the first 49 cycle beginning in 1903. In the second line, the one beginning in 1952, and the third one beginning in 2001. We see wonderfully that the 2025 is at the center of this current 49 cycle of the shambolic masters. So it's not only a conclave of hierarchy, it's not only something about externalization of hierarchy, but it's also time for a summit of this decision that they took in 2001. Because the center of the matrix, or the center of 49, the center of a unit is the heart, is just where the maximum of the potency is raised. So, yeah. Now, I go on. Then, Alexander, when you think it's time, you stop me, okay?
It will be difficult to stop because, yeah, it's very...
Yes, I'm like a train. You know, the third ray of Italy energizes so much the throat center, and we speak, we use hands very much. Anyway, we can have also another
Yeah, I think it would be very interesting to continue this if you could agree and present at the coming solstice, at the December solstice, so we could not just to rush through all this information, but to go in depth. But now we still have like another 5 to 10 minutes, so please continue.
Okay.
And then
yeah. So we have a right to this 49 matrix, which yes, we can see in the 49 cycle, we can see the 49 ashram of hierarchy, we can see the 49 centers of an organism, 7 main and 42 minor. Yeah, so we, particularly in our group also as a working modality in group, each of us chooses a vortex or a ratio, a relationship means 1, 2, or 5, 4, 7, 1. There is a text that presents the meaning of this harmonical relationship written by Enzo Salvolini. But these vortexes, we will see that can be applied to any idea to be transformed in a living organism, in a thought form. And so we can apply it to whatever. Here is applied to the presence of Jupiter in the zodiac. So, for example, in 1987, because we began this formulation of the planetary plan in that year, Jupiter was in Aries, in 1988 in Taurus, and so on. We can see that the 12 years of Jupiter, and 12 is the number of the heart, or the heart lotus, or the echoic lotus, and so on. The 12 in a 7x7 matrix builds a wonderful symmetry, because we can see here in this order, we have the subsequent signs. But we have, for example, signs of cardinal cross just at the main corners of this heavenly city. Aries, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, Aries. And also in this sense, look, in this direction, we have the opposite signs. Here we have Gemini, Sagittarius, Gemini. Here we have Capricorn, Cancer, Capricorn. We have Leo and Aquarius. And also in the other direction, we have all the signs of the same element. Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. The other line, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. So the fact that the number 12 in the matrix of 7, 12, the number of space, 7, the number of life, put together in this lambdoma, in this wonderful matrix, which comes from hierarchy or from the heaven, for sure, is revealing the wonderful symmetry that Jupiter, the great teacher of Earth, of all the solar system, is giving. Each year we have a different lesson. Now we have the lesson of Virgo, because Jupiter is in Virgo, which is the mother, the cosmic mother, the mother of the world, the unconditional love. And in the 9th of August, if I remember well, heliocentrically will be in Libra instead of the 9th of September, geocentrically in Libra. Libra, third ray, and we will have a great impulse for the third ray, for the equilibrium in dynamic relationship and so on. So let's go on. Here is, yes, we will go in depth in the next meeting, but just I wanted to show this one, because we can use also the lambdoma, this 49 matrix, which applying to also combining different cycles. This cycle, we are using a few people in this Vital Harmony website, and each equinox and solstice, we dedicate to one of these 49 steps a particularly significance and focus. So this cycle is made by what? By the two planets, Jupiter and Mercury, which are the transmitters of the Buddhic or Christic principle. Mercury, especially for the fourth hierarchy, because it's ruling the fourth human hierarchy and the sign of Scorpio. And their cycle is building just exactly an lambdoma, because there in 12 years, Mercury makes 48, 49 rounds around the sun. Is not amazing? And the same thing happens to Venus in the 30 or in the 29 years of Saturn. So Venus makes a lambdoma with Saturn of 48, 49 revolutions around the sun. So we have two couples, two sacred couples in the solar system. We can build a proportion. Jupiter is to Saturn like Mercury is to Venus, the hermaphrodite. And Mercury and Venus are faster than this higher couple or the higher triangle of solar consciousness. But they are their best friends. and so we have put this relation between Mercury and Jupiter, we have connected to the solstices and equinoxes of Earth, which is the pupil of them. The master Jupiter and the first pupil Mercury are teaching to the Earth how to go towards the perfect love of the Christ or the cosmic Christ of Sirius. We have chosen this data because in December solstice 2013, Jupiter was conjunct to Sirius. And we will have the same, as we have shown, the same conjunction of Jupiter and Sirius in 2025. So in these 12 years, we have begun this meditation, and at the solstices and equinoxes, we celebrate a birthday of Mercury because he has closed one circle. We celebrate a quarter of the Earth, which is just drawing the cross of the heart, because the solstices and the equinoxes are the quadripartite heart of the cycle of Sanakumara. And we celebrate the 12 passages of Jupiter in the 12 signs. So in this matrix, we can say just the 49 steps towards the Christ, or towards the acceleration of hierarchy. Whatever it is, the interesting thing is just that we feel the heavenly entities as I said, as parts, living parts of ourselves, of our group, of our human endeavor, human effort to become hierarchical. So here you can go in by yourself when you download the file, and we will see. If it's too late, just I show the remaining slides. This is the plan, in a hypothesis or formulation of the planetary plan, where we put the 7 main goals, alleged main goals. They are taken from the Blue Books of Decay. So in the first, the goal is restoration of the mysteries. The second, return of the Christ. The third, group initiation. The fourth, imitation of hierarchy. The fifth, new culture and new civilization. The sixth, new world religion. The seventh, order, restoration of the plan. We are working also each year to one of these goals. In our story, that is not only of this group where this matrix was was fecundated, but is also part of an experiment of a prototype of a planetary order with another group in Italy. So we are now living the 5-2 goal, Institute of the Heart. That's why we have begun this project called the Planetary System, and we are dedicating to this Institute of the Heart the articles that are are posted according to the cycles and conjunction of planets. Yes, this is the septenary organization on the website, which is just a project, it's just a form, but using this wonderful 2025 initiative is doing, is just using the crystallization of the mind of humanity, and we have just to fecundate with love and order, I think. And we will see in a future appointment also, we try to build this matrix of the new culture and civilization, asking ourselves, for example, for the 7 activities of humanity: government, education, economy, art, science, communication, and organization, which are following the 7 rays, which are, yes, for example, I give an example and then I close. What is the purpose here of the new government or the new culture and civilization? To be a source of freedom. What is its field of service? To guide toward the common good, and so on. What is the purpose of the science? To investigate the laws of the universe, and so on. We tried, with the help of the manas, as better as we can, to just to systematize our love or our service to humanity. This kind of service is on the 3rd ray line and ray, which the decay master indicated for Italy and France, because in the past these 2 nations were the site for the mysteries of this ray. So this key could sound a bit too geometrical, but it's a service that our third ray is giving through us, and we are also looking for the other rays. Example of this seed of the future esoteric schools. This is written in letters of meditation or called meditation. You will read also this one, and that's all. And the klaxon in the Alexander house has struck the end.
Thank you so much, Antonella, and I really suggest we see your presentation just as an introduction, because the last few slides that you just showed us and briefly introduced are have a very, I think, unique synthesis of information given by the decay regarding the plan. And so I would invite our participants to join our December solstice webinar, where we would continue talking about this. And I really like this quote. I personally never read it, but it's deeply resonate with it, that the solstices and equinoxes is that heartbeat of the planetary logos or Sanat Kumara. Yeah. So it's definitely opportunity to expand our group consciousness about our system and our cosmos, and so thank you so much to bringing this
Thanks
to us. Yes.
For the patience and also for our convergence, because I'm not speaking in the name of a specific group, because we are feeling really part and of the group is humanity, and the last quote you will read that is just outlining this is a recent article just of today. I will translate into English in these days. By the way, if someone wants to help us to translate something from Italian to English, welcome, very welcome. And so the group is humanity, and I think that we go beyond all affiliation to any group personality, and we are working as one. And these are, I think, the way for this people or aspirants, whatever, doesn't matter. So
yeah. And also just want to mention that this PowerPoint presentation is available now to download from the handout section of the control panel. And for those of you who listen in this recording of this webinar later on, the presentation is available on the website along with the link to the webinar recording. And now we have very little time left, and I suggest we just go to short meditation rather than maybe like alignment, and because we're still within the cusp of the full moon, and that's our work and duty to meditate together. So please, Antonella, lead us.
Yes, so let us focus on our heart, and let's feel the Christ in our heart and the joy that is His presence. And let's feel that the heart of each man is our heart. We are an order of hearts. We are like our blue planet, We are our solar system. We are the heart of the earth. We connect to the planetary heart, which is hierarchy. With the Christ in the heart, we are part of hierarchy. From this point of tension, we can feel the sun in our heart. The heart is the sun of its system. And the heart of the sun is connected to the heart of Sirius. To the heart of the great cosmic Christ, Orion. And to the great galactic heart, the galactic center. The heart of infinity is here and now. In this unique reality, we are already immortal. And we fight to liberate the prisoners of the planet through love and light. With the Christ in the heart, with the heart of infinity in the heart, let's assert and sow the wonderful prayer of the great invocation for the freedom of humanity, of the lower kingdoms, of anything. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth.
Thank you very much, Antonella.
Thanks to you.
Thank to everyone. The recording of the webinar, of this webinar, will be available in 1 or 2 days on our website, 2025initiative.org. And I want to invite you for our coming webinars. The next webinar is going to be on July 19th, the next full moon webinar. It's going to be Cancer Solar Festival webinar, and we will talk about the parenthood in the new age. And our guest will be Anastasia Smirnova from Russia. So please join us on July 19th. And also I want to invite you to join our coming new moon webinar on July 5th, which will bring us together to focus on the qualities of the next zodiacal sign of Cancer, and we will use the energy of Cancer to focus on the next UN Sustainable Development Goal, and starting with this new moon, we will meditate on goal number 1, to end hunger. To no poverty, goal number 1. And just to remind you that starting the last new moon, we started a new project when each month we keep in our collective meditative focus 17 sustainable development goals, starting from Gemini this year till Libra 2017. And last month we've been meditating on the goal number 4, quality education for all. And so we continue to keep this in our collective focus. So if you're interested to join this project, this meditative project, please join us at the next new moon webinar on July 5th. Thank you again, and let's close our
Alexander?
work. Yes.
I saw that John Horan, there's a hand. It's too late, probably.
We can just...
Oh, no, there is not anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a mistake.
Probably, yes. And I suggest that I expect that there were many questions that people couldn't ask because there was such a concentrated information.
Yeah.
And I suggest please write your questions and your feedback after this webinar. Like in an hour or so, you will receive email from us asking for your feedback, so you can put your questions there and we will summarize them and we'll send them to Antonella, and then we'll somehow coordinate the further discussion. We'll see how what would be the best way to go about those questions. So, but we definitely would communicate further and continue this dialogue. Yes, Antonella, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to thank you especially this 2025 initiative, because I recognize that is just one of the best way to open this Aquarian interaction between group individualities. Means that it's really the future, because you offer a platform where people can have knowledge, inspiration, can give their gifts or love. So thank you for this great idea. And thanks to your co-workers, very, very much.
Thank you for recognizing that. That's exactly the intention behind our work, to create a space for everyone to share and to hear each other. And thank you for sharing today with us.
Yes, thanks. Good everything to everyone.
Yes. And I suggest let's close our webinar today with the sounding Gayatri together.
Yeah.
O thou who gives the sustenance to the universe, from whom all things proceed, to whom all things return, unveil to us the face of the true spiritual sun, hidden by a disk of golden light, that we may know the truth and do our whole duty as we journey to thy sacred feet. Om.